I was raised in a Pentecostal church, the same one my mother was raised in, the same one my grandmother was raised in Central California. In mid-1950s, we moved to Southern California, and there wasn't a Pentecostal church, so we ended up going to a Presbyterian, then a Southern Baptist. And it was while at the Southern Baptist that I became a believer. The church was very evangelistic, not much on discipleship, but really big on evangelism. It probably wasn't until in 1971 when I was on ship in Vietnam on the Enterprise that a good friend by the name of Jack shared with me the issue of assurance. And from that point on, I've never had any doubts. I've always doubted why he did it, but he still loved me and gave me everlasting life. And it wasn't until probably after seminary that I began to really understand the freeness of God's marvelous grace and the message that gives life. And so since then, that's been part of my ministry in some form or fashion through 2 pastorates and then teaching at different and various colleges and seminaries up for about 35 years of ministry. So, well, it didn't really change much of my thinking, but it did have an impact on how I believed I was to do things, and it was less restrictive, and the freeness of it allowed me to be able to share a message that's really simple. I've always shared with students, whatever message you give has to be consistent all the way through Scripture, and second, it has to be able to be understood by a child. And so, and that puts it more of the level of which I'm comfortable at times to share it with others. And so it's been a good thing for that. I've taught overseas and in various places in the United States, and I found that most people are what I would call confused. And if at best they're just not consistent, they have no problem seeing it. Of course, it's by grace alone. Nobody takes out Ephesians 2, 8, 9 out of the Bibles, whether you're a Roman Catholic or an Episcopalian or a Baptist or a Bible church or an EV Free, whatever it may be. Nobody takes it out, but they sort of change the meaning so that it says, I know it's by grace, but it really is a matter of you showing your worthiness of it, and you will persevere to do the right things. And the hard part with that is that there's no real barometer to express it. So you can have people that say, 2 sins in a row is enough to knock you out, or not enough non-sin time to validate that you're really His. And so you're always in a quandary. Do I really possess everlasting life? And I think the grace message of life that is everlasting is received because the death penalty that Adam and Eve incurred when they disobeyed God. God didn't say they were sinners, of which we are, and they were. He says you were dead. And so what man has needed since then is life, and that life can only come through Jesus Christ.